Welcome to the HorseGrooms podcast on the Equus Radio Network, where horse care, horsemanship, and the people behind the horses take center stage. HorseGrooms is dedicated to empowering grooms worldwide through education, community, and industry support. Discover expert insights, career-building opportunities, and the HorseGrooms Insiders membership, brought to you by Horsery. You can't be everywhere at once, but with the Horsery AI-powered stall monitor, you can keep an eye on the horses in your care with live video and intelligent alerts, so you'll know when something may need attention. Because when it comes to injury, colic, or distress, minutes matter. Learn more at horsery.com and use code HorseGroomsPod for 5% off. Here's your host, Danette Nudaboom.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the HorseGrooms podcast. This time with Denise Moriarty, Ken Farrington's longtime groom. I'm really excited to talk to her because she is respected all over. She has been awarded prizes for her amazing horse care, so let's get into it. Okay, Denise, thank you for being on the HorseGrooms podcast.
No problem.
I'm so excited that you're here. We have many questions from people on Instagram that want to know a lot about you. But before I go to all those questions, we have a couple quick fire questions that need a short answer. So, coffee or tea?
Tea.
Favorite horse show?
Geneva.
Favorite grooming tool?
Curry mitt.
Favorite horse care product?
Hoof pick? I don't know.
Body clipping or currying?
Depends on the horse.
Okay. Cutting or pulling manes?
Cut.
Biggest travel challenge with horses?
Hurry up and wait.
Oh yeah. Number of countries you've been to as a groom?
Cannot remember. A lot.
A lot, yeah. Worst weather you've ever worked in?
Snow.
One thing you hate seeing people do with horses?
Spray them in the face.
Oh yeah, me too. I hate it. A horse you'll never forget, and why?
There's a lot of them. Voyer. He took me to my first Olympics.
Yeah. Then the last one, the person you've learned the most from regarding grooming and horsemanship?
Everybody.
Everybody. Okay. Okay, now we can start talking, and then you can just explain. So please introduce yourself just for the people who don't know you. I've already made the mistake. I know you're from Ireland, but I've put somewhere in the promotion that you're an American groom, but you're not. So tell me your the story of you, horses, and then ending up at Ken Farrington.
My name is Denise Moriarty. I grew up in Ireland. My family doesn't have anything to do with horses. I just got into it. And I moved to America after I finished college. I wanted to travel, but couldn't afford just to head off by myself. So I figured I'd go to America and work as a groom and travel and see the world that way. So I've been in America for maybe 18 years now, longer. And I've worked for Kent for 14 years.
Yeah, that's a long time. How old are you, if I may ask?
37.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you were young when you...
38. I'm 38.
Oh, you're 38. Okay. Hey, so you've been with Ken for more than 14, or for more than a decade, for 14 years, you just said. Like, what has kept you there? Because many people in this industry, they change a lot, but you've stayed. What has kept you there?
Ken takes good care of us. We have a lot of employees that have stayed with us for a long time. Ones that were even with Kent before I even started. He's a very competitive rider. He's a very focused rider. He has good horses and a good system. So if you want to win, then it's a good place to be. And we've had a lot of ups and downs along the way, but we've had fun as well. So that's the main thing.
And when you say he treats us well, what does that mean? Because I think it's important to share with other employers also, so what they can do to keep their grooms for a long time.
He he takes us, like, he talks to us, he has a lot of respect for us, and he never like shouts or raises his voice or anything like that. And if there's something that he wants done differently, he'll explain to you why he wants it that way, rather than just telling you that it needs to be done that way. He'll explain because he wants you to understand, and then you can more understand what you're doing. Whether if it's putting a bridle onto a bit, you then understand that, like, oh, okay, that's why it goes this way, or that's why the rein goes there, or like
Yeah.
whatever it might be. Or even if it's just a landing pole or a V-rail, or why you do it with this horse and not that horse, he'll explain so then the next time around and he's on that specific horse, you can be like, oh yeah, okay, I need to put it like this for this horse because this horse is like that, so it makes it easier, and you actually gain a lot more knowledge that way.
Yeah.
And it makes the job a lot more enjoyable because you are very involved in it, and he wants to know about the horses and how they are. He's very involved in that aspect of what they eat, the vet work, the farrier. So it's nice he's part of it as well, and he really just wants everybody to understand and enjoy what they're doing.
Nice. So it's really respectful and a real team atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Well, I think that's also my following question. What makes a great long-term relationship between a rider and a groom? But that's basically it then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So please tell us a little bit about the setup and the organization at KPF. How many horses do you guys have? How many locations, staff, riders, etc.?
We have a lot of horses. We have 15 in for Kent himself right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have inside client and outside clients. So ones that have their own staff or ones that we provide staff for. And then we have people that we just solely train. We just meet them at the ring or lessons. And then, of course, we have the hunters and the equitation and junior jumper section with John French. They have a huge amount of horses. So we have a lot of staff, and in our umbrella, we obviously I know everybody that works within our umbrella, but when it comes to the hunters, I would know the managers or the grooms that have been there a long time, but for the rest, I wouldn't. I would see them with a KPF shirt on at the show, but I don't
Oh, yeah.
necessarily know. But I only have so much space in my brain to retain information, so we keep them they're very separate. They're in different locations, the hunter
Nice.
barn and the jumper barns. Even in Florida, they're separate. John's based in New Jersey during the summer, whereas we're based in Connecticut. But yeah, obviously Kent has to know everything that's going on, but for us, we just need to know what we're doing on our side.
Yeah. And do you take care of 3 horses and that's it, or how does it look?
No, we don't tend to do it that way. We have we don't separate the horses. Everybody knows everything. Kent likes it all to be very transparent. We use a lot of databases to record stuff, so that if someone's sick or someone can't go to the show or someone gets kicked in the head, then someone else can step in and do the job as well. So so we keep it that way so that everybody knows. So whether it's myself or Arthur that goes to the show, we know exactly how to take care of that horse, what boots it wears, what bridles it wears. So so then it makes it possible for the whole show to keep going.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about those databases that you said? What is that? Is that an app or sheets?
Yeah, we use Hippo Vibe to keep everything, vet records, farrier, worming, vaccinations, USEF numbers, FEI numbers, all that kind of stuff. It's all there, and it's available to our secretaries, our accountants, so they have all of the information as well. And then we do like a simple thing. It's very simple on WhatsApp. We do a group with the videos, and everybody's included into that group, like our home rider, and everybody's included into it. And we just make a note after each video, whether the horse had earplugs in, whether it got a Calming paste or an energy boost, and what boots it wore. So then if I'm at a show with the horse that Arthur was at a show with 3 weeks ago, and Kent goes did it have earplugs in that day? I can look back
Yeah.
and go, yeah, actually it did. So
Wow.
it makes it easy then for everything to be done consistently.
Yeah. So it's the video of the ride of the
Round,
course.
yeah, of the round in the
Yeah.
ring, and then just a brief, like it's very simple, earplugs, pace, boots.
Yeah.
It's very brief, very short, but
Yeah.
then all the information is there if we ever need to look back on it again.
Huh.
And
Interesting.
then
Yeah.
it's nice because then, like, if I'm away at a show, then like Arthur can watch the videos and our home rider can watch the videos and our home groom, so they get to be involved and see the rounds as well, so
Yeah.
they enjoy even the guys that are still in Florida, so they get to see, they're not looking at the horses every day, but they still get to see what's going on because they also
Yeah.
help to take care of them during the season there. So they're still their horses too. So
Yeah, but it's also nice to stay involved to just see
yeah,
them go. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Great. Um, yeah. Can you walk us through what goes into caring for a winning Grand Prix horse like Rhea on a normal day at home? How does a day look like for her and for you also? But start with her.
Um, give her hay, give her grain, clean her stall, put her on the walker, and then depending on when Kent wants to ride, she'll either go on the field after the walker or else she'll get ridden and then go into the field. Um, wash her up, dry her, back in her stall again. It's pretty simple. It's the same for
You
every
treat
horse.
her like a normal horse.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so there's a question from one of our Instagram followers, and she said, "What is your feeding routine?" But you start with hay.
Yeah, we always start with hay first and then we give grain. And all the horses get a little bit of it's a probiotic pink mash in the
Right.
morning along with their grain. Then they get half a flake of hay at lunchtime, and then they get hay again, grain at dinner time, and then they get half a flake of hay again at night check.
Okay. So not a lot of hay.
No, because the horses go in the field a lot, and especially when they're in Connecticut, we have very big fields and rich
Ah, yeah.
grass up there, so they can get a
Yeah.
little fat. So we have to watch
Get a
for
little
that.
bit.
But yeah, they don't get a huge amount of hay. They get 3 flakes a day, unless if they're skinny, then obviously we give them
Yeah.
more. But
Yeah. And is the how much time between the hay and the grain?
um, normally like 20 minutes by the time we've hayed everybody and organized the buckets and soaked the mash and done that. It's about 20 minutes before
Yeah.
we give the grain.
And do you do the mash so they get enough liquid, enough water?
No, because it's actually just it's a conditioning. It's beetroot mash. It's got a lot of probiotics and prebiotics in it, so it would be the same as yourself taking your biotic in the morning.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's just in that mash form. It's only a handful. It's not super watery or anything like that. It's just really
Yeah.
to get their biotics.
Yeah. Okay. And then how does your day look like? We get a little bit of an idea already, but at what time do you start? And
Um, on a normal day, it's between like 6:37 we'll start. And again, if we're in New York or in Florida, we put the horses out into the walker before we muck them out. So they're not in their stalls when we muck them out for the most part. They're either in the field or in the walker. And then do water buckets, rotate the walker, organize, make a plan for the turnout with how the guys want to ride the horses. For a lot of the times, if the horses jump at home, we like to put them in the field afterwards so that they're walking around and have their heads down and they can have a roll, that they're not just jumping and then set up for the night and they stand in their box, so that they get out and move after
yeah,
they've been jumping, especially the younger horses too. They like to do that as
don't
well.
get stiff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you finish. You take a little break for lunch, and then around 4 you finish something like
Yeah,
that.
normally around 4 we finish up if everything's gone to plan.
Yeah,
Um, we should be finished around then.
which it doesn't do most of the time with
No,
horses.
so yeah, and obviously a show day is very different. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And a show day, yeah, that is my next question. How does it work at a show? But yeah, it depends on the show and on the program,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you try to keep
Um,
that routine or
yeah, we keep the routine the same. It stays the same in regards to feeding, and then we never let a horse just get ridden from the box. It always gets hand walked or goes in the walker, so it's moved already before the rider gets on. And we maintain that too through the shows as well, that they get out of their box first before the rider gets on. Um, yeah, and then we do our best at the shows to hang graze them as much as we can to make up for the paddock time that they're missing. Um, but yeah, we keep it the same. The routines is
yeah.
very much the same.
And the horses get out like 3 times a day at home and at the horse show
Yeah,
about.
at least. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
at least. Yeah. Okay. Do you ride as well?
Um, I wouldn't say I ride. I try and stay on, but I don't ride as much as I used to. Kent has some crazy horses, so
Do
and
you
I'm not as
stay
young
on?
as I used to be. So I'll
Do
leave
you
that to
stay
the
on?
professionals.
I'm sorry, you say that again?
I'll leave that to the professionals.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But do you stay on most of the time?
Yeah, touch wood. I've never. No, I haven't fallen off one yet. Yeah.
Okay.
My claim
Yeah.
to fame is I never fell off of Austria. Everybody else fell off of Austria, but I never
Wow.
fell off her.
But that little chestnut that he had, that was also a
Credence?
spicy one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Credence is spicy too. Yeah. And the secret is just to not really ask them to do anything, and then,
Okay.
and then they're fine. It's when you
Yeah.
actually ask them to work, then you're in trouble.
Just don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, when you in the morning, when you lay eyes on your horses for the first time that day, what do you look at?
Just that they're like, okay, initially you want them to be bright and come to the door for food. You want them to be excited about their food. That there's some manure in the stall, look that they look like their normal selves and they're behaving like themselves. That's probably the first thing that you would look at.
Yeah. Okay. And when you see that something isn't quite right with the horse, what could that be? Like
Um,
when do you think, okay, this is not okay, I need to do something or tell somebody?
yeah, it again, it depends on the horse and their personality. But obviously, if they're just quiet and dull, not really wanting to eat, or just standing in the back of the corner of the stall and just kind of look not right, not
Yeah.
themselves, just uncomfortable, not necessarily uncomfortable, but not excited about the day. So
Yeah.
it's yeah.
And then what do you do?
Um, Normally we figure out take temperature, see if there's manure in the stall, see what it is like, if it's dry, if it's wet, see how much water they drank, if they ate their hay from the night before, um, and then try and listen to their gut to see if you can hear anything going on, and then make a decision from there. Then to try and figure out what to do with them after that.
Yeah. And when you listen to their gut sound, do you put your ear on their belly or yeah?
Yeah, behind the rib cage.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
between the hip bone and the rib cage.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can hear if there's gas in there, or you can hear if there's nothing happening, or if it's gassy.
Yeah. Good. Um, do you feel your observations could influence decisions? And can you think of a time when something you noticed changed the plan for a horse?
Um,
So basically, how does the team respond when you notice something is off?
for sure. If you say you're at the show, and because we jog the horses if they jump at home, or at the show if they jump anything, we jog them in the morning. So if one of them is a bit tight behind or a bit stiff behind after they did maybe something bigger than they were used to doing, of course we'll let Kent and Claudio know, and then they'll adjust their riding to it. Maybe they'll let them just go on an open gallop that day and have an easier day rather than asking them to work again. So that's important. And then obviously the legs, if there's any changes on the legs, that's going to be a big decision. But yeah, simple things like that is going to change the plan, or if they seem tired,
Oh yeah.
then they'll either change the plan for their setup for the Grand Prix in regards to how hard they ride them in the days in between, or if we need to give them more energy, or if their energy is good, then we'll discuss that with the rider and make a plan from there.
Yeah. So that's you have a really important role in that because that's a big observation and also a big decision to make.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
That's great. That's great that you're really a big part of the team. Yeah, nice. Um, yeah, you talked about communication already, so I'm not going to ask you that. We're going to go to basic horse care. What does your normal routine looks like, and which products do you use for well, let's start with bathing. Do you bathe them a lot? And if you and what do you use when you bathe them?
We try not to bathe them. Obviously, in Florida, it's hard, but we try not to bathe them too much. At least like full body baths. Sometimes you need to wash the legs. We tend to use a lot of Head and Shoulders on the legs or baby shampoo. Just because if you are washing them every day, it's a gentle wash to use. We like to use the argan oil shampoo because it keeps the moisture in the coat. And then we use a Santa Fe product. It's got sunscreen in it,
Yeah.
which is very helpful in Florida, especially. So
On
yeah,
all horses or only on the white ones?
on all of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to stop the sun from bleaching their coats out when if they're in the field.
Okay. Yeah. And you say you try not to bathe them a lot, but you do wash the legs. When do you wash the legs?
Just if they've like gone out in the canals and they have like dirt and grime
Yeah.
in it, or if they've sweated under their boots and they have dirt sweated into their legs, then yeah, we'll wash the legs then in that case.
Yeah. Does that also mean that when you're up north, do you wash the legs less than when you're in Florida?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And especially if
What?
they have cracks or anything, you want to try and keep the legs as dry as you can. You don't want to overbathe them.
Yeah. What do you do then when you have cracks or scratches?
Um, You want to keep them dry and clean, obviously, keep the dirt away. But you also need to keep them moisturized, so that they stay soft and supple, so that they don't crack again as they're healing.
That's not
Um,
an easy combination if you want to keep them dry and clean
yeah, yeah. But
and moisturized.
we do the Equifit have the socks that you can put on,
Oh
tape
yeah.
them onto the foot and pull up, and they're great for because then you can keep your cream inside without all the dirt sticking to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's immediately the other topic I want to talk about. That's skincare. So, what is your basic routine for skincare? And I think it's brushing.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
No, but you know you can do a lot of things also to avoid problems with the skin, especially in Florida. So, what do you do?
Uh, just curry and brush, and if they are bathed, then bathing doesn't count as grooming. You still need to brush them after you bathe
Yeah.
them. You can't just throw them back in the box. So, um, I think that's very important. And then obviously when you clip them, that you take care of them afterwards, that their skin doesn't get irritated from the clipper oils.
So, what do you do then? What does it mean taking care of them? After.
Well, make sure that they're clean first of all when you clip them, so that you're not clipping over dirt and pushing that into the skin more.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like a hot towel afterwards, maybe with some baby oil or something, just to get the moisture back in the coat again and clean off the coat.
Yeah.
Um, and then just been like we have one horse that the hair on his face falls off, so we just don't clip the front of his face
Oh, yeah.
because
Oh, yeah.
there's no you can just curry comb it. It looks the same anyway, but when you clip it, then everything starts to get more rubbed. So we just
Yeah.
leave it, it doesn't. So it's just simple things like that to pay attention to.
Yeah, well, it's simple for you, but it's a lot of people would like to know which simple things you do. So what do you do if those horses are a little bit bald on their head? You know, sometimes because of the sweat, I think they lose a little bit of the hair. What do you
Yeah.
do?
I think an important part is that when you wash them, that you towel dry them afterwards, and that you actually, because obviously you wash them, but the towel is also going dirty after you wash them, even, so it's important that, especially in those creases on the face where the grime the grimy water can fall down their face and it'll sit in those crevices. So it's important that you towel dry the face very well. And then again, like, curry it. And then if they are, I just put Nivea, to be honest with you, on it to keep it soft. Yeah.
Okay. Does your skincare regimen change depending on the climate or country you are in?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because Florida is humid. So even in regards to, like, when it's hot, bandaging the legs or anything like that, we wouldn't do it early in the day because the horse is just going to sweat underneath it, or put them on and then leave them on for a few hours and take them off. So that would be very different. And then in summer, like Michigan, it can be a lot drier, so the skin tends to dry out a lot more. So we have to be more mindful of that when we're taking care of their skin there. So yeah, or like even like Calgary, they can get very mucky and wet. So you gotta really make sure their legs are clean afterwards and that they're dry. Yeah, so it really, it does depend on the climate a lot, is how you take care of the legs.
Yeah. Okay.
Or skin in general.
Yeah. Which therapies do you use with your horses at home and at shows?
We use the Sports Innovation blanket, the magnetic one with the neck piece, and the massage one. And we use the Response System magnetic foot pad. All the horses stand on that when they're getting braided. And we also have the laser from both of those companies. The Response System one is a bit bigger than the Sports Innovation one. And that would be it. We use the HoffMag every once in a while when we have it. But yeah, other than that, that's...
And do you do that at home and at shows? Is that the same?
Depending on what the horse has done at home, but we don't tend to use too many of the therapies at home. The horses we don't necessarily jump them very big at home. They do a lot of gymnastic work. So yeah, we use that stuff at the show.
Yeah. Okay. And how did you learn to use them?
The instructions that came with them.
Sorry for asking stupid questions, but I ask that because some people just put everything on their horse they can get a hand on without reading the instructions or without asking a vet or whatever, an expert to use them. But you do try to read the instructions. Okay, sorry for asking. What do you do to make sure you stay on top of correct saddle fit, nutrition, etc.?
Kent's very big on his saddles fitting the horses correctly. He hates it if they touch the wither, or if they're tipped forward or sliding back, or he'll tell us. The horse doesn't need to tell us because he will tell us. If he hates it, it really drives him crazy if the saddle is sitting on the horse's back too tight. So we're lucky we're sponsored by CWD, so we have a huge range of saddles at home. And for the most part, each horse has its own saddle. Obviously we rotate through when we get a new horse to figure out which saddle fits it best. And then obviously some of the younger horses, their bodies change shape. So sometimes we need to change the saddle again as they get more muscle. But yeah, it really is just a trial and error of seeing which ones fit them best, and when the rider's sitting on them, how it sits, as well as how it looks without a rider. And then in regards to nutrition, we weigh our horses every Tuesday. They get weighed in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have a scale at the barn?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they all get weighed, and then we can keep a record of that, of their optimum weight, like when before Geneva or whatever, what their weight was, and it's actually very useful for Some horses, they will lose a lot when they travel.
yeah.
Some horses do not. They are happy eaters. So then we know if we're doing, for example, a show like Geneva, where we're flying very close to the vet check. So there's not much time in between and them arriving and having to show. So then we know the horses that are going to lose condition. So we'll bulk them up before they travel. And the ones that are not going to lose condition, then we know just to keep them on an even playing field. So for that, it's very helpful. And it's actually quite, it's interesting because the horses, they weigh a lot different than maybe you would think, or they weigh like when it comes to like worming and stuff like that. It's because we have some smaller horses. Like we had one that was 999. She just wasn't very big at all, you know.
Yeah.
And then you have the ones that they're not necessarily fat, but they're a stockier horse. They're not as lean as some of the others are. So it is interesting to see what their weights do throughout the year.
So what is the range of weights of your horses? Like until
probably like 1100 to 1210 maybe. Like we wouldn't have anything in 13,000 or anything that big. We don't have ones that big, but yeah, that would be the average for them.
Yeah, but you also don't have a small one of 950 pounds.
No, we sold that one.
Oh, you sold that one. Yeah, okay. And for the European people or the non-American people listening, like that is about 1,200 pounds is like close to 600 kilograms, but not completely, but that's about it. If you work with horses, you know you cannot be everywhere at once. Whether you're at a horse show or at home after barn hours, you still worry about the horses in your care. That's why I've been very impressed with the Horsery AI-powered stall monitor. Horsery is a smart camera made for horse stalls. You can watch your horse live whenever you open the app, and it alerts you if your horse is rolling a lot, laying down more often than usual, or when someone enters the stall at an abnormal time. That's why organizations like Wellington International, Kentucky Equine Research, and Cornell University trust Horsery. You can't be everywhere at once, but Horsery can help you stay connected when you're away from the stall. Visit horsery.com and use code HorseGroomsPod, that is HorseGroomsPOD, for 5% off your stall monitor. Okay, I'll go to the questions from our audience. And that is, Ashley Mina would like your favorite tips for keeping grays sparkling and white.
Obviously, if they're clipped, it's easier because it's easier to get the stains out. Not letting a stain sit too long because then it's harder to get out. And honestly, it just depends on the horse. Some horses are clean and some aren't. And it doesn't really matter what you do. But obviously, like picking the stall at night check and stuff like that can help a lot. And I tend not to wash them too much with like whitening shampoos because it dries out the skin a lot. So I think maybe that can help too, that the skin is softer and the hair is softer with using just normal products rather than using the whitening products that do dry the hair and make it more coarse, and then the manure and everything sticks more to the coarse hair rather than the soft hair. I think that's helpful. But yeah, honestly, it's just the luck of the day, really.
And is Greya the luck of the day, or is she dirty?
For the most part, she's a very clean horse. She's very, very clean. Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. But her tail is also really white. So do you wash the tail often or not even?
No? I wash it with ivory shampoo, like dishwashing. Yeah. I would wash it with that, and then like maybe before the show, then use a whitening shampoo in it, because I made a mistake once with Willow in Geneva, and I made his tail purple. Because if you leave it in obviously too long, and if you don't have warm water to wash it out, then the warm water obviously works better to get rid of the purpleness. But obviously at the shows, you don't always have warm water. And so I had cold water, and then he went in the ring with a pretty much purple tail. But
oops. Okay. Well, shit happens, huh?
Yep.
And then there's another question about Greya's tail. Olivia asks, how do you put Greya's red ribbon in her tail and why?
I just take an elastic band, and the ribbon, I just tie it in a knot on the elastic band. So she has her own ribbon. It's hers that stays with her. And then if I don't do a French braid, I'll just grab a chunk of hair, tie it on, and then fold it back in on itself. Like separate
Oh
the hair
yeah,
and fold it back
yeah.
in, and then pull it, and then it'll stay flat. It won't poke out of her tail. It stays
Oh.
flat under her tail. But
We
yeah,
we are
that's
doing it via Zoom just for people, and
oh,
they will only hear it. So you made a lot of
okay.
movements with your hands. So maybe we need a video at some point. But
Yeah. But
yeah,
yeah, I tie the ribbon to an elastic band, so then it's easier to attach onto the tail.
yeah.
And we put it on, not that she doesn't really kick other horses or anything like that, but she does after the jump, especially in the warm up, she can kick out when
Oh,
she lands on the backside. And if people are either walking across the jump or too close to the jump, she can get very, very close to them.
oh yeah,
So that's the main reason. It's not that she doesn't kick the other horses, or she doesn't intentionally kick people or anything like that. It's just that when she bucks like that after the jump, she can get close to
yeah,
people.
yeah. How
Yeah.
is Greya? Is she a sweet mare or is she a bitch or?
She's opinionated. She can the more success she's had, the more maybe diva she's
Oh,
become.
really?
Yeah, for sure. Her personality has grown a lot. Um, it's kind of, you got to like ask her, just stand and be like, hey, do you want to come put your head in this halter? So, but
Oh,
no,
wow.
she is very sweet, and she is a kind horse. But she's definitely like, she has a sharp side to her as well, for sure. She's a mare, so they
Yeah,
all
she
have a little
should, and she's
spice
a
to them.
winner, so she
Yeah,
should have.
yeah,
But that's
yeah.
funny how they develop that attitude,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Get
yeah,
better.
yeah. The more prize givens, the bigger the attitude gets. That's for sure. Yeah,
So funny. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, we have a serious question also. When you're dealing with the stress of the job, how do you stay level-headed and focus on the tasks at hand?
Um, I think you just gotta like plan your day and prioritize that day. If it's Grand Prix day, then we tend to prioritize the Grand Prix horse that day. And if that means that maybe one of the other horses at the show doesn't get ridden that day, so that I have more time to focus on the Grand Prix horse, then we'll do that. Obviously they'll get out and hand walk and everything, but
Yeah.
just that it's one less thing to think about and spend time with. So just prioritizing your day and planning your day is the most important thing. And then that eases the stress, because for the most part, the stress comes from not having enough time or rushing or something like that. So if you can have your tack laid out, your studs laid out, your ring bags ready for that horse, and everything is ready, then it becomes a lot less stressful.
Yeah. So you have a ringback per horse, or you
Oh no,
organize
we
the horse?
No, we just organize it like so. If like Greya's hind boots, or what she needs at the ring, is a lot
Okay.
different than some of the other horses. So we'll change the bag and make sure that what I need for that horse is ready
Yeah.
in the bag, and I don't need to worry about that.
Yeah. And what's in your ring bag? What are the standards things that you have in your ring bag?
My ring bag,
You
ask
look at you
anybody.
look at me like,
What's not in my ring bag?
oh, okay.
I have everything from Vaseline to hoof tape to safety pins to extra set of reins, hole punch, alu spray, diapers, sugar. Um, yeah, there's a little bit of everything in there.
Okay, okay. Well, maybe I'm gonna ask you to email it to me, that we can put up a list of everything that you have. Then we have a question from Romy. She asked, "How do you make sure the manes don't get damaged too much from braiding?"
I think the most important thing is that you cut the band when you're taking out the braids.
Hmm.
You don't just pull the band out, because then you'll
Oh,
you'll pull a lot of hair. So if you can either use a seam ripper or a small scissors and actually cut the elastic band, then you'll save a lot of hair for sure.
Okay. Yeah, good tip. Um, Allison asked about your feed and hay routine, but you answered that already. And then Danielle asked, do you have any tips for new FEI grooms? Because I know a couple and they do that for the first time and they're really like nervous, basically, if they don't do anything wrong or forget anything. What kind of tips do you have for them?
For the most part, the job was the same. The horse is the same, whether it's jumping the national show or the FEI show. Obviously, the biggest thing is the rules, but for the most part, any groom is willing to help you or tell you if that's wrong or right. And the stewards as well. If you have a question, you can ask them as well. But I think it's a lot of just you can research and you can look up the rules, like a quick guide of rules on FEI for the jumpers, and that's very helpful. And then for the most part, you just have to watch what other people are doing or ask other people what they're doing, and then figure it out from there. But it's a learning period, and everybody's going to make mistakes along the way, that's for sure, but for the most part, everybody's there to help you, so nobody wants you to get into trouble. So you can always ask.
And also, can they ask you, for example, because I think people look up to you, and if there would be a new groom, can they ask you something if they need an answer?
Yeah, it's actually, yeah. Everybody, a lot of people ask me questions, and it's like, yeah, of course, I'm going to answer and help. And if I don't know, if I'll give them the information of someone who will know or who can help them, or I think can help them. So yeah, obviously, like I did the same when I was starting, and it's just part of learning, really.
Yeah. Okay. Now that's perfect. Yeah. Hey, I've heard you say in an interview that it's extremely important that horses competing at the highest level are extremely fit before they travel because they recover faster after flying. How do you, as a groom, play a role in their fitness program?
Honestly, it's just like working with the rider on like the recovery, like whether it's like when they're finished showing and they get back to the stables, how quickly they're getting their breath back or how quickly they're recovering, or and then like some horses, they get more stressed if you start to tack them up for the show ring. They can already start to get a little bit stressed. Um, so then sometimes if it's a more stressful situation from them, their recovery time won't be as quick, but it's not necessarily that they're unfit. It's just that
Yeah.
they maybe weren't taking as deep a breath as they should have or anything like that. And I think maybe just monitoring that kind of stuff. But I think a lot of that the fitness has to come from the rider, and obviously maintaining the program, making sure that if they're supposed to be going on the walker or the treadmill, that they're doing the full amount of time and that they're, actually getting a good workout in and not just.
Yeah. Yeah, but okay, monitoring the recovery time and everything, those are important tips, I think, for grooms also to keep
Yeah.
an eye on that and to communicate that with their rider, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. What are the biggest challenges when traveling horses internationally?
The whole, like, it can be stressful for the horses if they're not used to it. If they're used to it, then it can be quite easy. It's just you have to be aware all the time and pay attention. The horses are getting on and off trucks, on and onto pallets, and it's important that you're fully paying attention, that like a silly mistake doesn't happen along the way. And just not being afraid to ask, like if, for example, for the pallet, if the partition needs to be moved over, if the horse needs more room so they don't feel so claustrophobic when they walk in, to like make sure you do that not be like, oh, it'll be okay, and then have to deal with the situation afterwards. If you know your horse, and obviously the shipping companies, they want easy loading and everything to run smoothly. So if they have to move the partition over to save 20 minutes afterwards, then they will, So
Yeah.
it's important to know your horses and know if one won't go into the container first by itself, if it has to watch another horse go in and then it'll go in. And the same with the truck. We have some horses that don't want to back into the stalls in the American truck. So they go on first, and whichever one they happen to decide to back into, that's the one that they go in, and then everybody else goes in around them, So it's just simple things like that to pay attention to, and obviously make sure that the horse is drinking and eating along the way. And
do you feed them when they're flying? Because some people don't. Well, hay, I think hay.
Hay, we give them hay and carrots, but we don't give them any grain when they fly.
And is there a difference in preparation for a horse if they fly or go over the road long distance?
There can be a little bit, but because flying is actually quite easy on the horses. It is like a long day of traveling, but if you think about how much their body has to work, they have to balance for takeoff, and then they're just smooth sailing, and then brace again for landing. So in general, it's a less stressful on their body as long as they're a calm horse. If they're a stress horse, obviously it's a different situation. But then obviously in the truck, they have to use their bodies a lot more to balance. There's roundabouts, stop signs, traffic lights, so sometimes actually people don't think it, but actually the trucks can be harder on them in regards to their body and their muscle and soreness when they come off the truck.
Do you also notice that when you get to a horse show after driving, that they need a little bit more time to recover from traveling than after flying?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Huh, interesting. Yeah. And what do you do? Do you give them like ulcer medication or before traveling?
They'll get a GastroGuard in the morning before they travel, but that would be it then.
Yeah. And do you wrap them?
Yeah, we wrap them in front and not behind, just in front.
On the truck as well as on the plane.
Yeah.
And how do you make sure they stay hydrated? Because some horses stop drinking when they travel, right?
Yeah. The ones that we know aren't going to drink and are going to be a problem on the other side, then we'll run fluids on them before they ship. And then we use thirst quencher or mash in the water to encourage them, and then our apple juice in the water to encourage them to drink. I think they're some of the best products to have them drink more water on the backside, because some necessarily they won't drink in the truck, but as long as they drink once they get to the stables, then that's important.
Yeah, but now we're going to talk a little bit about before and after competition. So what does the week before a major Grand Prix like Geneva or Aachen look like from your perspective? Are there things that you do differently?
Not too much. We tend to, the horses that are going to travel like that and go to a bigger show, we tend to prioritize them in turnout time. So they get to be in the field longer than the other horses. The other ones might have to come in 30 minutes early or an hour early so that the other ones can stay out for longer. That's one thing that we do, because we know they're not going to see the paddock for a while after they come home. So we do that, and just probably about it, just to, obviously they get a little bit more attention because there's more things to be done with them, whether it's clipping or running fluids or whatever it might be. But that's mainly just what we do. Everything else is very much the same.
When do you do the body clipping? Before a horse show? Like how long before?
Normally like a couple of days before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you travel from up north in the US to Florida, do you clip them before they travel, or do you clip them when they get in Florida, or what do you do?
We tend to clip them, unless they have like a thinner coat, we tend to clip them before they travel down so that they're not sweating in the truck on the way down. Especially the younger, newer ones that aren't necessarily used to a long travel like that. The fresh ones from Europe, they're not used to, because it is nearly 24 hours from Connecticut to Florida. Yeah, so we tend to clip them before they leave so that they're less chance of them sweating when they're getting to Florida.
How would you describe your role in the warm-up? You said you told us a little bit about that already, and I think it's super cool that you get included so much. Tell us a little bit more about it. How would you describe your role there?
You're pretty much just like the eyes, like to see what's going on, to see how the horse is jumping, if it looks neat and tidy, or if the horse has been sloppy or whatever it might be, that you can let the rider know what the horse is doing and how it looks. I think that's the most important part of it. That's just to tell them if it looks good or if it doesn't look good,
Is there something special that you always do before a horse enters the ring? You may say no.
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 I don't
Okay.
think so.
You're not superstitious or something like, oh,
No.
I always need to do that. No. Okay. What is your routine after a horse has jumped a big Grand Prix?
We ice them, depending on the horse, ice all four legs and ice their feet, and then bathe them, put the magnetic blanket on them, and
Is that
then we
also
try
the
and.
order? Sorry to interrupt, but is that also the order? You ice first and then you bathe them? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We let them go back in their stall, ice them, let them eat some hay, pee, drink, and then wash them. And then after we wash them, if it's possible, obviously some shows it might be nighttime or it's not possible, but just to walk a few laps of the barn and then yeah, and then bring them in, do the blanket on them and finish them up.
Yeah. Okay. And then do you put anything on their legs when you wrap them?
Just arnica and tendonil we would use. We don't poultice the horses. And then pack their feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you use for the feet?
Either Epsom salts poultice or magic cushion,
Yeah.
depending on, because the Epsom salts can obviously dry the foot more. So if you're already in a dry climate, then that doesn't help too much because the foot obviously needs some elasticity to it. So then we use the magic cushion in that situation.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a difference in aftercare between a big Grand Prix and a smaller class? Or do you always do what you just said?
It can depend on the horse a little bit. If it's older, then obviously we keep the routine the same. For our younger horses, we tend not to do too much with them until they're in the meter 50, meter 55 level.
And what is not too much?
Like the younger ones, if they show in the morning, we'll bandage them, and then we'll take the bandages off at the end of the day. They won't sit all day with bandages. We do pack their feet if they've been jumping consecutively, or if the ground is hard, we'll always pack their feet. But yeah, we don't necessarily tend to go overboard with the aftercare of the younger ones. We got to make sure that they're going to hold up for the sport. So
yeah. Does that also mean that you don't always ice them?
We'll ice them in front as long as they've done something. If they just did some cavalettis and are like a meter 20, we would prefer to put them in the field. And then, But yeah, for the most part, they get iced up front, but not necessarily all around.
No. So you also think movement is almost the best therapy after.
Yeah, especially for those younger ones when they have immature muscle, let's say, in their body, then it's better for them that they have their head down and they're stretching their back and that they're moving, even if it is just a walk around the field, that they tend to be less tight the next day.
I think that's a great tip. So thank you. Then about media and the grooming world. So in the last couple of years, the role of the groom has been recognized more and more. We see grooms being interviewed and followed at horse shows. That's a good thing. But for now, it's mainly grooms from high-profile riders like you. Do you feel that as a responsibility you carry for the grooming community? And how do you deal with all the media attention for you and Ken's horses?
I think it's great to bring light into what the grooms do and what a day is like, because I think a lot of it can be misunderstood from the outside about how much work the grooms are actually doing in the background. And I know it's been said 100 times, but the show is done and everyone's gone home, but the grooms are still there doing the horses. And they're there first thing in the morning. So I think it's good that light has been shined on that, and that the shows are been maybe held a little bit more responsible for class times, amenities for the grooms at the shows. So I think that's important. In regards to dealing with the media, I think you just have to, obviously we encourage it. Obviously if it's upsetting your horse, then no, come back another day. But yeah, I think it's important that the role of the groom is recognized, and that it is actually a job. It's still, even when you come into America, your occupation, there's no section for. No. You're an agricultural worker, and so it's it's very much an occupation that's not really categorized, and therefore it's hard for people to understand.
Yeah. Did you also receive some kind of media training at KPF for how to deal with the media, or no? You just learn
No.
along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're almost at the end, Denise, so
Yeah.
I won't take up much more of your time. But do you have advice for young grooms? If somebody dreams of grooming for a rider like Kent one day, what should they focus on?
They need to enjoy the job. Like you have to obviously enjoy what you do, otherwise it's just not fun. And you have to remember that when you take the job as a groom, you're responsible for the horses. So you chose to take that role, so therefore it's your job to get up in the morning and feed them. It's your job to check them at night. So you take on that responsibility. If you don't want to do that, or if you feel that that's not important, then you should maybe do another job. So you really have to understand that like you are taking care of an animal that can't speak for itself, that if you don't do it for it, it's not going to happen, you know? So especially when you're alone at the shows and stuff like that, I always say you either do it or you don't. And if you're not going to do it, then let someone else go, you know, like if you're not going to do it to the best of the ability. So I think you really have to be committed to that. I think it's important to be enthusiastic and willing to learn. A lot of places run differently, so you have to be able to adjust to their system, whether you think it's correct or not correct. But if that's the way that rider wants it, then that's the way you do it. I think you have to be honest and communicate with your rider if you've made a mistake or if something is wrong. You know, at the end of the day, it's their horses. It's them that has to talk to the owner if something's wrong, or explain to the sponsor why they didn't jump that class or whatever it might be, you know. So it's at the end of the day, they have to answer to it. So they need the information. So I think that's important, and that can help build respect in the relationship. And just, yeah, you just got to want to do it and be competitive. You have to have a little bit of a competitive edge to do it, for sure. But yeah, you just have to understand that you're there for the horses, and that's a commitment you make by taking the job. So
yeah. Okay. And you said you like always keep learning. How do you always keep learning? Do you continue whatever? Do you do courses, or how do you keep learning?
just from watching other people, like things that they do or tricks that they do, or asking people, you know, why they do that, or what do they do for this, or you know, you can learn from everybody. Like every day, you're always learning. There's always something new, something different. Yeah, you just got
If
to watch.
Yeah. If you look back at your own career, would you have done anything differently to whatever, do it even better, or get to this place where you are now quicker, or would you give yourself any advice?
Honestly, I like the path that I took because I learned, I moved up the steps along the way, and I learned a lot from a lot of different people and a lot of different places and stuff like that. So I think that's made my knowledge even more. I think maybe when you're younger, you got to remember to like enjoy it as well, you know, there has to be a fun part of it too. And that you know, that you still need to prioritize your own time as well. Like it's okay to take a day off, and it's okay to take a holiday. And, you know, you need to have something outside of work as well, that either that's a stress reliever, or, you know, just for you to unwind or whatever it might be. You know, I think it's important to have that other aspect to your life as well.
Do you have that? Do you have something else that you really like?
I run a lot. I enjoy to do that at the end of the day. But no, I just like to hang out with friends, and whether it's at home or at a restaurant or whatever it might be, but just to catch up with friends, or even when I'm on the road, just call and catch up and talk about the day. And yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you think
I
you
have
could
no
be
idea.
doing this for 20 more years?
I don't know if I'll still like do as much physical grooming, because it is quite a toll. But yeah, for sure I'll be doing something with horses. I just don't think I'll be at every show every week, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that brings me to the end of the podcast. That if people want to follow you, or they have questions, can they follow you on Instagram or something like that?
Yeah.
No, are you on there with your own name, or do you have a
Yeah.
special handle?
I think it's Demise. Can't remember.
Demise.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put it in the show notes. And do you post a lot about the shows, or?
I don't post too much. I post a little bit here and there, but nothing too crazy.
Okay.
I try and just keep it pretty simple.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate it for you taking so much time, and you're in England right now, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for doing that. And I think many people will enjoy this. So good luck this summer.
Thank you.
And we'll see each other.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Contact Danette online or visit us on the web at HorseGrooms.com and join us for another episode of the HorseGrooms podcast every week right here on the Equus Radio Network.
This episode of the HorseGrooms podcast is supported by Shelley Paulson Equine Stock Library. Over 20,000 authentic equine images and videos ready to license for your brand, blog, or social media. Real horses, real moments, real life with horses. Browse the collection at shelleypaulsonstock.com.
Behind every great horse is a great groom. That's why HorseGrooms.com and Equus Television invite you to become part of a growing community dedicated to supporting the people who care for our horses every single day. HorseGrooms is a platform of resources, education, and support for grooms by grooms. But it's much more than that. It's a movement dedicated to keeping true horsemanship alive, helping grooms learn from one another, advancing the craft of grooming, and creating healthier, more sustainable careers throughout the equine industry. Join us for our monthly HorseGrooms meetups, where you'll connect with fellow horse professionals, share experiences, gain valuable insights, and become part of a community that truly understands your passion. And don't miss the HorseGrooms podcast on the Equus Radio Network, featuring conversations, education, and inspiration from some of the most respected voices in the horse world. When you participate, you're helping make the best care possible available to more of our beloved equine partners. You're supporting the next generation of horsemen and horsewomen, and you're making a lasting impact in an industry we all love. Together, we can strengthen horsemanship, support grooms everywhere, and build a brighter future for horses. Learn more at www.horsegrooms.com.